What's going on, guys? FlyingDB6 here, and we're back for another Pokemon Masters video. And with 2020 basically coming to an end, I thought I'd sort of make my wish list as like a Christmas wish list for 2021, like going into 2021. And of course, you guys can definitely leave your comments down below as well on what you'd like to see coming in 2021. So in the background of this video, like I'm just gonna have Volcarona just sort of destroying Tapu Bulu on stage 1, like just the normal difficulty. Just because like since his banner's still and his banner will be going away soon, you guys can sort of get the feel on how Volcarona is if you want to summon for Volcarona. But anyways, 2021, we're definitely going to be expecting a lot of stuff and a lot of improvements coming to the game as well. But this is going to be my list on what I'd like to see come to 2021. Like there's a lot, and there's definitely stuff that is realistic that they definitely can implement into the game, of course. Especially with that survey that they did a while ago, asking us some stuff like about player versus player and more co-op stuff. So, but anyways, let's get into the first one. So the first one I definitely want to see is an improvement to the summoning in Pokemon Masters, because the way that they have it right now is just sort of wonky. Like it's just not really that great. Like getting to 400 skill points is a lot. Like you need 40,000 gems in order to get one guaranteed copy. So like if you get unlucky in the 40,000 gems, then you only get one copy guaranteed, which I mean it is better than nothing, because a lot of other gacha games, they don't even allow you to get a guaranteed of a character, of a new character when it comes out. So but it is quite a hefty price, 40,000 gems, and if you were to pay for all those gems, it's gonna be over $300 Canadian. So it is it is quite a bit. So that's why I'd like to see some kind of change to the scout system. I mean, they could keep it at 400. That's not a problem. I have no issue with that, because not everyone is gonna be spending to 400 40,000 gems, because like you could get very lucky and get like 3 out of 5 in like the first 2 summons, or maybe even on the first summon if you get super lucky. So it's not like an issue. Like the real issue is that like there's really nothing to get from the summon besides that one extra sync pair for free basically. So I'd like to see some kind of change to that. So like maybe a guaranteed summon, not a guaranteed summon, a guaranteed 5-star in each multi-summon that you do. Like if you were to do a single summon, like that's still going to be the same, but if you were to go to multi-summons, then of course then you get a guaranteed 5 stars of anybody that's in there. So like then you have like a 3% chance to get the new card that's coming out, or you have the other chances for getting the spotlight characters. So like I'd like to see some kind of 5-star guaranteed for each summon coming into the future for Pokemon Masters in 2021. I think they will implement some kind of feature like that in the future, but who knows? Maybe they won't. Maybe they might add in something from their ideas. Who knows? But like if we take a look at Pokemon, I mean Dokkan Battle, for example. So we'll quickly change over to the next screen. So now we're over here. Like this is just for an example. So like as you can see over here, this is the current banner that's out for Dokkan Battle right now. For 300 hours, only perform 3 multi-summons and get 1 free. So maybe Pokemon Masters could even do something like that. So like if you were to do 3 multi-summons, then you can get a free one, or it could be 50% off. Like they could do something like that as well. Only on Pokefairs, I'd prefer to have something like this, because on Spotlight characters, like there really isn't a need for this, because they're not like big banners. Because Pokefairs are sort of like limited, and just like what this banner right here is considered, this is basically a Pokefair rarity banner, but on Dokkan, it's called a Dokkan Fest if you don't know. So like I'd like to see something like that come to Pokemon Masters, like where we get like maybe 3 multis, and then the next multi will be free or 50% off or something like that. They could definitely add in something like that, of course. But that's just an idea on my part on what I think or what I'd like to see, considering like I do play a lot of gacha games. So like there's a lot of ideas that I'd like to see and throw at Pokemon Masters that maybe they could implement into the game. So the next thing on my list that I want to talk about with 2021 things I'd like to see is some kind of upgrade to the co-op feature. Because right now the way co-op is and everything is just not that great. Because before everybody was doing co-op, everybody was having fun, but now like there's really nothing to do with co-op. So I'd like to see something more with co-op or player versus player into Pokemon Masters. Like the way Pokemon Masters is set up, we could easily see some kind of player versus player, and they did mention player versus player in their survey that they released a while ago. And we did a video on that as well, going through the survey, seeing what's in there. So it's definitely possible, and the way Pokemon Masters is set up, like the system with the battling and everything, it is definitely possible for them to add in player versus player. They just need to work on balancing, because of course some of these Pokemon sync pairs, like they're just way too busted. Like if you were to go on player versus player, you could literally just run in with Charizard and just steamroll everything. Like it won't be fair. Charizard will just destroy everything. Mostly these AoE Pokemon, like they'll carry player versus player. They're gonna be like the meta in player versus player, clearly. So that's the thing. Like when they bring in player versus player, they're gonna need to work on some kind of balancing. But the easiest way for them to like make co-op easier or better, or player versus player, like I'd rather see more with co-op than player versus player, if I'm gonna be completely honest. Like for them, like expanding on co-op would be much more easier than player versus player, because then they need to work on balancing separately for player versus player. But like if you were to add in co-op, they could literally just keep everything the same with the balancing, with how strong these sync pairs are, and then they could just go from there. Because with co-op, you don't have to worry about nerfing some sync pairs when you go into the player versus player specifically. But with like co-op with raid battles, for example, because that's one of the things I'd like to see with the expansion of co-op again, is raid battles. So like if they were to add in raid battles, they wouldn't need to worry about balancing or anything, because then with raid battles, for example, let's say we have Giratina as the raid boss for the month of October, because he has a ghost type and everything too. So like we could have Giratina as the raid boss for the month of October, and let's say he has 10 billion health. Then like every player can go into co-op, they can form like parties together, and then they could take down Giratina. And because it's co-op, there's no stamina that is required. So like after you're done one battle, you could go right back into it and do as much damage as you can. And like I said, with the 10 billion health, of course, like it will drop very, very fast, because like I said, there's no stamina, so you could just go right back into it. So in one battle, you could probably do like maybe like, let's say 200,000 damage. I don't know if that's possible. I mean, it definitely is. But like, of course, like they, like, depending on how strong Giratina could be, then he might, like, you might die in like maybe 4 or 5 hits. So you have to do as much damage as you can before you faint and all. So there's a lot of like ways that they could go about doing these raid battles. But of course, like I said, I'd rather see co-op get expanded and just go from there than having player versus player. Of course, they could add in player versus player as well with co-op, like with the raids and everything. But personally, like I said, I'd rather see more of co-op than player versus player. Like player versus player, of course, can easily be very fun, and a lot of players will 100% enjoy that, and like would probably have more fun with that than raid battles, of course. But they could add in both. They could add in co-op raid battles, or they could add in player versus player, which that would, like, I mean, I guess it would kind of separate the player base with players that are mostly in player versus player, and then players that are doing raid battles. But like, if they want to get people's attention with the game and want people to stay in the game longer, they're gonna need to add in some kind of modes that can do stuff like that. Because then, like, for example, if you get bored of raid battles, you can just hop into player versus player, go there, and then once you get bored of player versus player, you can go back to raid battles, or you could be doing like the legendary arena, battling these easier boss Pokemon, getting like small bits of reward every time you beat them. Like it's good to have like a variety of game modes, so like players can jump between them so that they're on the game longer, and they're willing to come back because they enjoy the game modes that are here. So that's one of the features that I'd like to see come into 2021, either the co-op battles, like the co-op raid battles, or player versus player. But they did talk about player versus player in surveys, so it is definitely possible that we are going to be getting player versus player in the future, mostly maybe late 2021, maybe. But of course it will be in the dev letter, and we are going to be getting a dev letter later on in December. So of course we'll see what their plan is from there on. But like it's hard to say, but like player versus player and raid battles for Pokemon Masters is definitely on my list that I'd like to see in 2021. But who knows? Maybe they might not add in raid battles. Maybe they might ignore player versus player after all, and then maybe expand on co-op. But I definitely like to see co-op expand more, because like right now, like there's no point in having the friends list if you can't do anything with that. So that's the thing. But for my final list, like for my final like wish for 2021 is some kind of guild feature or some kind of like league feature, like whatever you want to call it. I'm sure they'll call it whatever comes to their mind, like whatever they feel fits Pokemon Masters. So like maybe like leagues, they could call it, maybe something like that, because I mean with the Elite Four, like I don't know, maybe calling it leagues would be more fitting for Pokemon Masters. But that's another thing I'd like to see. But in order for that to like sort of work and fit with Pokemon Masters, they'd have to include some kind of like raid battle feature or player versus player, like I said. Because right now with how the game is, there's no point in adding guild features or leagues, whatever, for Pokemon Masters, because like if they add it, there's gonna be no point. Because like what are you gonna do? There's nothing to do with co-op. Like what are you gonna do? Just go in and do EX battles? Not really, because it's like you're not really gonna gain anything from that other than equipment. So like that's why they're gonna need to add in some kind of raid feature or player versus player for guilds, because then when they have guilds, like then you could form guilds with your friends, and I'm sure a lot of people would really like that too. And then you can make leagues with your friends, guilds with your friends, whatever. I'm just gonna call it guilds in this video. So like then you can make guilds with your friends, and then you could like sort of battle each other if player versus player is out by then. And then you could go into raids with your guild members, and then take down Garantina, for example. Like there's a lot that they could do. Like there's really a lot that they could do when they add in raids or player versus player and guilds. Because then like with guilds, like maybe you could do like a monthly thing with your guild members to see how much damage you guys could accumulate over the month. And then how many like maybe then you could even exchange co-op boards. So like if someone is short on co-op boards because they want to like sync grid, like for example Volcarona, then you could donate some co-op orbs to your guild members, and to help them out with gridding up certain sync grids. Of course, if you do the sync grid missions or the co-op orb training event every day anyways, you're gonna have enough. But like I'm just saying, like for example, if you are short on co-op orbs and you need a little bit, then you could just ask a guild member to donate some orbs, and then there you go. Like there's a lot that they could do. There's a lot that they could do with guild features as well. And then it would be a lot of fun, because then you could talk with your guild members, plan out strategies for certain like in this case, like for example, raids. You guys can plan out strategies for how to take down a certain raid together. Like before you go into a raid, you could talk about what kind of stuff you need to bring, strategies going into there, or you could talk about best sync grid builds for like Volcarona or Swanna and stuff like that. Like there's a lot that they could do with guilds. But I don't know. It's just my wishes, because of course 2020 coming to an end, thank God, finally. Such a bad year for everything, but with 2020 coming to an end, I thought I'd make this kind of video talking about my wishes that I'd like to see going into 2021. Of course, let me know your wishes for 2021, because everybody's gonna have their own wishes. This is mine. Mine might seem a little bit too far-fetched, especially the guild features and the raid features. Player vs. player not so far-fetched because they did talk about it in their survey, so it is on their mind and on their like on their mind, because of course if they weren't thinking about it and if they didn't have like some kind of baseline system on how it could work in Pokemon Masters, they would not talk about it at all. So like if they didn't think it would work, they would not talk about it, but since they talked about it, of course they do have some kind of way to make it work when it comes into like if they want to actually try it out in the game officially. But with the way Pokemon Masters is, of course it is definitely possible for player versus player, of course, but I don't know, we'll see. But this is my list for what I'd like to see for 2021 for Pokemon Masters. Of course, like the summoning is probably one of the most realistic things, because like I said, with Dokkan you could do 3 multis and then you get 1 for free, or you get for 50% off. So like Pokemon Masters can easily do something like that. I mean, with the coins, it's really not really that great, but it's a step in the right direction for the summons. But yeah, like the discounts for the summons I think would be like more realistic. The guilds and the raids, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit too far-fetched, but player versus player is definitely not too far-fetched, since they did talk about it in their survey. So but that'll be it for my list, or my wishes. Let me know your wishes for 2021, and yeah, let's have a little discussion. What are your wishes for 2021 for Pokemon Masters as this year is coming to an end? It has been a shaky year for Pokemon Masters, especially closer to the end of 2020, but hopefully 2021 will be a lot better for Pokemon Masters. But that'll be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later.